Hello and welcome into the Non-Negotiable podcast. I'm Gavin and I'm here tonight with Pascal. How you doing, Pas?
What's up, Gav?
Good, mate. And Justin, how you doing, Jazz?
Hey, hey.
So the big season preview party's here. We're going to put our thoughts down on tape and on video, as it turns out today. Hi to everybody on YouTube. And
That's fine.
we're going to make fools of ourselves, and we're going to keep a spreadsheet, and we'll come back at the end of the season and see who was least wrong. So are we ready to pile in, lads?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to start with you, Justin, and we are going to start with the signing of the season.
Okay, signing of the season. I'm going with Jury and Timber on this one. I know we spent more on Rice. We spent more on Havertz. But I think this guy is going to be really quality and show it very consistently. I think Rice is going to be great, and Havertz probably too, But I think Rice is going to take a little time to learn that six. And, Havertz is probably going to be moved around a bit till we find out what's best for him. But I think Timber is going to put a consistent shift anywhere we put him on the back line. I think his talent and quality has shown through dramatically in preseason. And, I'm pretty convinced he's going to be an absolute stud. I've watched him a decent bit for Ajax and for the Dutch national team. And, I mean, he just oozes quality from the back line. So my signing of the season is Jerry and Timber.
And Pascal, who you got?
Sorry to sound as if I'm saying, I'm going to be more or less exactly what Justin said. Timber as well. I to be honest, I thought that might be even when we bought him that he's going to be the signing of the season. I would just add to that. I think Rice is going to be really, really important for us. I think he's going to be a lot more important than what is being portrayed at the moment. I think he's going to be crucial. But what I think Timber, why I would say perhaps would be the signing is because of the price tag, the fact that he is also can play across every position in the back line, potentially also in midfield. Doubt that will happen, but he could do there. So for that reason, I would say he's going to be the signing of the season.
I am going to go with Declan Rice. And I'm going to go with Declan Rice for a few reasons. Some of it will become clearer later on in the episode when we go through what we think is going to happen with the season. But I just think he's going to grow into a more and more important member of this side as we go along. I think we've seen about 25% of what Declan Rice can be. I think he's going to get better and better as the season goes on, better and better as the weeks go on. I just think he's going to grow leaps and bounds as a footballer. I think he's going to become more progressive. I think he's going to become braver on the ball. And we got to remember that this year, or this season, I should say, is an African nation season. So we're going to lose Thomas Partey for a month, January, February time. We know that Partey can't play 90 minutes to a proper degree. We know that he can't play a full season. I think Rice playing in a couple of different positions in the 8. I do expect he's going to move back towards the 6 as the season goes on and stay there. But I just think he's going to be absolutely key to everything we do. And I tell you something else, with looking at the prices being quoted for people like Caicedo, McTominay. I mean, I'm now hearing that Man City are paying 100 million for Paqueta. To me, at the time, I said at the time I wasn't bothered about the fee, and I wasn't bothered about the fee. But now it looks like a steal to me, an absolute steal. And I think he's going to be so important to everything we achieve this season in the next few years. So for me, it's Declan Rice. I do want to throw one thing in there. There's a chance it's David Raya. Because if Ramsdale gets injured at any point, then the difference between having Raya and having Turner is going to be absolutely night and day. So there is if everything goes wrong, there is a chance it's David Raya. But for me, it's Declan Rice. So moving on to the next category, Justin, who do you have for top scorer?
My top scorer, Gav, is Bukayo Saka. And look, I mean, I'm saying this mostly because I think all our forward players are going to get a lot of goals. But Saka seems to be kind of the most like set and forget. He's going to play the most minutes. And as of right now, and I know this is heavily debatable, but he's our, penalty kick taker. But I think he's went from strength to strength. He scored a lot of goals last year. He's definitely the most nailed on player in the team. And I expect his scoring to go up another level this season. Yeah, I think Saka is going to be our top scorer.
Okay, and Pass, who you got?
I think you're going to have to ask me questions first because it looks like I'm just copying what Justin's saying. Because I'm saying Saka as well.
It's all right, mate.
I think Martinelli's will push him close. So I think Martinelli's starting to get the hang of scoring as well. I can't see Jesus just purely because it just doesn't, not an out and out goal scorer. I think it's going to be Saka. I just think he's the most potent threat. I did like the fact that Odegaard got a lot more goals under his belt last season, so he could also push him. And you never know with Havertz potentially, but I just have to go by what I've been seeing over the last few years, and it's really Saka for me that speaks out the most consistent. And if he's also a penalty taker, even more. So, yeah, got to go with Justin on that one, Saka.
Well, I think we got a clean sweep. And I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna surprise anyone because everyone knows what I think of Saka and his goal scoring. I think if he doesn't have penalties, which I expect that he won't have penalties, I still expect 20 goals from him this season, even without the penalties. It might, I've said all along, I think he's a 30 goal a season player, and I'm talking league goals here. I think he's a 30 goal a season player at some point. I don't know he can get there without penalties. You think we get? Averages probably say 5 penalties a season, 5 maybe 6. So I think that might stop him from getting right up there, but I definitely think it will be in the 20s this year. I think he's got better every year. His goal tally has improved every year, and I expect a huge jump from him this year. Actually, not just a little jump. I think it's going to be a massive jump. He scores all types of goals, doesn't he? He scores with both feet. He scores tap-ins at the far post. He rifles them into the top corner. He can turn and cut inside on his left foot and swing it into the bottom corner. He does everything. He can even head the ball. So there's really nothing he can't do. So I expect it to be Saka. I agree with you, Paz, that I think Martinelli will push him close. I think the problem with Jesus is that I just don't think he's going to play enough. Like he's already out. He's going to miss the first probably 4 games. I would guess he's going to miss. And with Man City, he never played all the time. So all of a sudden you've got all this new pressure on his body and he just doesn't look to be holding up that great. So I just don't think Jesus is going to play enough. That's for me why it's Bukayo Saka. Just hopefully we get some different answers on this one. But who have you got for most assists this season?
All right. I maybe we won't. But I have Trossard. I think his impact after signing in January was just bonkers. What do you have? 9 assists, I believe, in the second half of the season.
10.
10. Sorry. I fully expect another high impact season from him. And I even think he'll earn a few more starts than he did at the end of last season. So yeah, I'm going Trossard.
Who you got, Paz?
What was this most improved?
Most assists.
Or most assists. I'm going to go Odegaard on this one. I think Odegaard is unlocking those passes like there's no tomorrow. But there could be, for example, the Havertz chance where he did that beautiful pass to Saka. He could be actually the assist before the assist as well. But I do see him really becoming more and more influential for our team. So as to not pick Saka again, who I think also gets an awful lot of assists, I'm going to go with Odegaard.
And I'm with you. I think it's going to be Odegaard as well. I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder. It's storming like crazy here. But I think it's definitely going to be Odegaard. He's just the fulcrum of everything this team does. I would like to go somewhere different. I would like to say Kai Havertz, but the fact is that Havertz just doesn't get many assists. Like if you look back through his career, he's not an assist guy. And I think Odegaard, I think Odegaard has got the capability to go to another level again. And when you look at what he did last year with 15 goals and 10 assists, that is some level that that I think he can possibly go to. But I think it will be Odegaard. I think the 2 wide men are going to be the main source of goals again. and it's Odegaard playing them through balls that are gonna push us there, basically. So, Juz, who have you got for the most improved player this season?
If you've been listening to us for a while, I don't think it's any surprise. My most improved player is Emil Smith-Rowe. I mean, let's be honest, he barely featured last season, mostly because of injury. But then once he was fit, he didn't really feature a lot either. And I think it's because he was just, below spec for the rest of the team. I think the surgery to fix the injury that was bothering him since his Leipzig loan is fixed now. And I expect him to put in more performances when he saved us, in that Chelsea Boxing Day game. I think we're going to see a lot more from Emil Smith-Rowe. And I think what it's going to come down to is more, being picked. But I think once he kind of makes his impact, he's probably going to be picked a lot.
Pass.
That's a really good shout by Justin. But I know this sounds a bit weird because I think he's a superb goalkeeper, but I'm gonna say Aaron Ramsdale because I think he's gonna up it a notch now that we have Raya there. I think we're gonna see he's the type of character we already spoke about that will not be inhibited by this signing at all. I think he's gonna raise it. I think we're having a year older as a goalkeeper. He's still really young, but he's got that year experience. I think we're going to see an even better season from Aaron Ramsdale.
And I'm going to shock everybody here, and I'm going to go with Fabio Vieira. I'm not going to shock everyone that much. Jesus, I don't want everyone to die. I'm going to go Fabio Vieira. I think part of the reason. I think part of the reason is that's a lot of minutes. Yeah, but I think he's going to get a lot of minutes. I am not as convinced as Justin that Emil Smith-Rowe is going to get big minutes. And let's be fair, this is quite a high bar that we're going from, because who can you say in our team needs to improve from last year? Like, if you were to look at that starting 11, there's no one in the starting 11 you're saying he could get better, unless you were talking about Zinchenko's injury problems. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no one who needs to take a massive step forward. So it's got to be one of the fringe guys. I don't think Reiss Nelson's going to get barely any minutes at all, especially now he's missed pre-season. I think Reiss is going to be lucky to see 300 minutes in the Premier League. I don't think Emil Smith-Rowe is going to play that much. I think Fabio Vieira is going to be the first man up in a couple of different positions. I think he's had a decent pre-season, actually. The one penalty against Man United that landed somewhere in my garden aside, I think he's had a pretty good pre-season. He strikes the ball well. He looks like he's maybe settling into it. We've all still got the worry about him being weak, but the move to the right side of the pitch is going to benefit him massively. I don't think he looks good in that left 8 role. I don't think he can play on the left wing. I think on the right wing and in Odegaard's position, although he didn't shine there last year, but I think that's where he's got his best shot of making an impact. So for me, it's going to be Fabio Vieira in what I think is a very, very small race, because I think you take the new signings and the first 11 out of it, you've really only got 3 or 4 players to pick from. So for me, it's Fabio Vieira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who have we got for player of the season, Juz?
This one was actually pretty easy for me. I think it's going to be William Saliba, pretty much hands down. I think he'll go from strength to strength. We saw how much he was missed when he went down with injury. I think he's just going to continue to be like an absolute boss and be the stalwart of the defense. I mean, I think he's an incredible player for his age, but also just a center back in general. And I think he's going to show it and be our most important player.
Pass.
I think that's a really good one, Justin, actually, on Saliba. I'm torn. I know I want to try and go left field, but for me, it's between Odegaard and Saka. So I'm going to opt for Saka this time, because I think Odegaard won it last year, didn't he? Didn't he win Player of the Year? Yeah, so I think Saka is going to raise it that one bit more. I think we're going to see a more developed Saka, a more assertive Saka. Not that he's got problems at the moment, but even better because his ceiling, he still hasn't reached it yet. So I'm going to go with Odegaard's assistance, but Saka player of the season.
So it's funny just because I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days, and Saliba was definitely really high on my list. And again, to tease it, later on in the second half, you're going to find out why it's not Saliba. But there is a circumstance where I do believe that Saliba is not only Arsenal Player of the Year, but the Premier League Player of the Year. I just don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Saka and Odegaard, like you said, Pass, are really, really close. I'm going to go with Odegaard, and I think Odegaard is going to play his way into the Ballon d'Or conversation this year. I just think he's going to absolutely go through the roof this year. I think he's going to be fantastic. He's the tempo setter. He's the fulcrum of the team. He's the absolute key. Like you see how we look when he's not on the field. We saw that Monaco game where we were awful because Odegaard isn't there. Even though no one coming in had a particularly bad game, they had a bit anonymous games, not bad games. But without Odegaard, this team just doesn't work. And I think he's got gears and gears and gears left to go. And I think you're going to see something really, really special from Martin Odegaard this year. So for me, player of the season's.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah.
So 12th man of the year, who's going to basically make the biggest impact coming off the bench? I have a feeling this might be another clean sweep. I don't think anybody's picking Eddie Nketiah. But Juz, you go first. 12th man of the year.
I mean, you guys want to do it all at once? 3, 2, 1.
Leandro Trossard.
Yeah.
Well, go on, give us your reasons, though.
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious. I mean, he's going to be probably the most, like, I imagine he gets subbed in every game he doesn't start. I imagine his goals and assist numbers are going to be outstanding. I think his versatility is huge. I don't even think there's any way to really argue with this opinion, I mean, he is our most valuable 12th man substitute, and I think that'll continue. Yep.
And Pass?
Well, it definitely won't be VAR, and it definitely won't be the referee. So Trossard. I was giving Trossard as well. I mean, I'd love to say Emil Smith-Rowe or Fabio Vieira, but I'd be lying. They're just shot in the dark, I think. Trossard, I think we can see, is going to have the most impact for us.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely unquestionable. I don't think he's going to start many games. I would put his starts probably under 10 in the Premier League for sure.
Same. Yeah.
But I just think he makes such an impact when he comes off the bench, and he can come on in any situation. He can come on when you're chasing a game and change it for you, and he can come on in the midfield or up front, where he's just hanging around making things happen. He can come on when you're 1-0 up and you're trying to see a game out, and it's that death by 400,000 passes that Mikel talks about. He can come on and do that and just keep the ball. So I just think he can do everything. And I agree with you. I can see him appearing in every single game for like 30 minutes, 25 minutes at a time. And I think his goal and assist numbers per minute is going to be up there with anybody. He said before, he came in last year in January, he spent a lot of time coming off the bench, and he had 10 assists. Even coming off the bench in half a season, he had 10 assists. So I can definitely see, I can see a world where maybe Smith-Rowe gets some momentum going early and starts to really come into that role as an impact sub, because we've seen him do it before. But I just think you can't back against Trossard for that. It's got to be Trossard.
I actually have in my notes honorable mention to Smith-Rowe, but I definitely think it's going to be Trossard. It's definitely going to be Trossard.
You've got that tattooed, haven't you? Honorable mention Smith-Rowe.
Well, it's on honorable mention to Smith-Rowe is on every category.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You've probably got that on every.
Hey.
You should get it stenciled on the wall, like women like to have live, laugh, love on the wall. You should get that on the wall stenciled on.
You can't see it. Yeah, it's just right over here.
Oh, you need to move the camera around.
No, but I like player.
Of
He's
course.
not a great player because I like him.
Yeah, no, I get it. He is.
Tail end, and
I am hoping
you know.
he gets. I am hoping he gets more of a chance this year. I really am. I just worry for his. I just worry for the minutes he can
I,
get.
I do too.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a tough team to break into, right?
Mhm.
Like we've got. It's. I know. We all keep saying, and everybody keeps saying, rotation. We've got to get used to this, but so far, Arteta hasn't shown us he's a manager that wants to rotate. He likes
No.
to set 11, and he likes to bring the same subs on.
No, but I also think fan memory is short. Like, I mean, we can't remember, or like we can't forget, I should say. Him coming in and basically saving the season when he was added to 10 against Chelsea. But that was a long time ago.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
do think people forget that, and that he was for a while a more important player than Saka, I think, at the time, for I don't know, 3 months or so. No.
Well, I mean, Saka was kind of playing left back, wasn't he? And then he was
Yeah, he
left
was. He
wing,
was.
and
Yeah.
we really hadn't settled up. That was before we
Yeah.
changed format. I mean, he came in; it was almost a 4-2-3-1 at that point. It was way before we changed the
Yeah.
formation around and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Just it wasn't this Bukayo Saka.
Yeah. No. Of course, it was just radio silence, so I needed.
Well, generally, once you start on Emil Smith Rowe, me and Pash just sit back and let you go.
Okay, well, I'll continue then. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm ready for the next one.
Okay, so the next one is: do we make David Raya's deal permanent at the end of the year? So he's joining on a 3 million loan with a 27 million buy option, which is a lot of money for a goalkeeper. Juz, do we make it permanent at the end of the year?
All right, Gav, I'm gonna be delicate with this one because I know Ramsdale is a fan favorite, and I love Ramsdale as well. Okay, so nothing I say is taking anything away from Ramsdale. Okay. I think the deal is very smart for one. Having the option to buy. I think Raya is a little statistically better than Ramsdale in a lot of categories. Passing, playing out from the back. I think his save percentage is higher. He was one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League last year, in a lot of key stats for goalkeepers. I think that look, I don't want to lose Ramsdale. That's kind of what it comes down to. I think that if Raya performs really well and we decide to buy him permanently, I think 27 million is that's a good price. He's a little more experienced than Ramsdale. I think he is slightly better than Ramsdale, but I mean, I do love Ramsdale. And if it meant Ramsdale was leaving the club, I just don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I don't think I'd feel good about it. So even though I think Raya does make us slightly better if it meant Ramsdale was leaving, no, I don't think so.
So you don't think so? Not what do you want? Do you think we're going to make it permanent?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do think we'll probably make it permanent. But if it means Ramsdale leaves, I don't want it. Yeah.
Pass.
Okay, so to make it clear, it's just clearly what we're thinking will happen rather than what we're hoping.
Do you think?
So I think they will. That's what I think. Okay, it's not what I want because I want Ramsdale. I like Ramsdale, but I think what's going to happen is, I feel he's going to make his way into the first team at some point, and by that they then pay the money. If he does not, of course, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to go ahead and pay 27 million for a back. I don't think he'd want to stay if he's going to be a backup keeper. So I just, unfortunately, I have this feeling, not that I have any disrespect to Raya, but I've got a hunch that he will make his way as the first team keeper at some point, and therefore they will pay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no on this, and I think the way this deal is structured, I think we don't know why this deal is structured this way. That's the bit for me. I've read some reports that it is purely structured this way, not because we want to try before we buy, but it's structured this way because we're having some issues with FFP, and we basically cannot weigh the money out this summer for him unless we sell some more players, and we haven't really sold anybody yet, not for any serious money. So from what I've heard, is this deal will become permanent next summer, and we will pay the money for him. This is just a way, the extra year at Brentford, and then this clause is basically we've got a gentleman's agreement that we will buy him next summer. I don't know if that's true or not, but that is what I've heard. I am going to say that that isn't the case, or rather that's not the case. Rather, we won't actually do this deal. I do want to caveat that there are things that could change that. If Ramsdale gets injured and Raya comes in, that's a different story. But I've been thinking about this, and I can see a world where we do split the cups and the league up. And like let's be honest, we have to have a look at Raya, right? Like we can't do a deal like this and then have him not play. I don't think they're going to split Premier League games. I think one is going to be the Premier League goalkeeper, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ramsdale was the Premier League goalkeeper and Raya plays in the cups. It's not a split that I like, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I think when you get to the end of the year, we said that this could only be a 1 year thing, right? I don't think you are going to be able to move Aaron Ramsdale on 110 grand a week. I just don't see where you're going to move him to. So I think Ramsdale is going to be staying. And I think if Ramsdale stays, to me, it doesn't make sense to make the Raya move permanent. So any further thoughts on that, Judge? You looked a bit quizzed about the structure deal when I was saying about the FFP.
Oh yeah, I am. I didn't. So to be fair, I'm moving right now. So I have actually spent very little time online today. So I've not seen that yet, but I would be kind of surprised we were in any FFP.
Well, we are close because we've spent big for the last 3 years. We've brought absolutely nothing in. Our commercial income has been lower than everyone else's for years. So we are close to the line. Like that is a fact. We are close to the line on FFP. And I think that the thing with this, I think if we could sell, let's say we sold Balogun, Tierney and Holding tomorrow, then it would probably change things. We would probably be able to bring him in with no problem. But without the outgoings, and so far we've only seen Turner and Trusty. Like we've got no money in from anywhere else. Well, and I think we got a couple of million in for the Patino loan to Swansea, maybe. But yeah, we haven't really brought anything in. So that's the reason I'm hearing is that we just haven't had the outgoings to bring more incomings.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that makes sense. It just I don't know. I probably, like a lot of other fans, think the stinginess throughout the years probably gave us
it's only on a rolling 3 year basis, I believe. FFP
5, isn't it?
Is it 5? Well, even if it's 5, you think about it. 5 years ago, that was the summer of Pepe, right? Or was that the summer before Pepe?
I think it was the summer before, but yeah,
whatever it is, we've been spending money since then.
Yeah,
you're right. Nothing coming in because we ain't sold anybody.
Yeah, we've not had a good sale, minus Iwobi, I think. Oh, well, but I mean, those still aren't greats. I mean, they're great for us, but they're not. Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to get them sales in to make it work. So anyway, I'm going to go no on the Raya deal. I just think that when push comes to shove at the end of the season, I think decisions are going to have to be made, and I just don't think that carrying 2 goalkeepers like this is sustainable. I think it's an absolutely fantastic move for this season, though.
Real quick, I was just curious, your guys' opinion. If we can only keep one, I mean, regardless of what's happening this season, where it seems like we're signing Raya on a loan, would you prefer to move forward with Raya or Ramsdale?
Ramsdale.
Pass.
Ramsdale.
That doesn't mean we're right, though. Like we said last week, we went through this with Lukic and Seaman, and if you'd have asked me at the end of 89-90 if I wanted Lukic or Seaman, I would have chosen Lukic, and I would have been dead wrong.
Would you? Did you? I actually I was really happy when we got Seaman.
No, I was furious.
Personally, I thought John Lukic was good, but I didn't think he was. I thought Seaman was was a really, really good keeper. Because at QPR, he was outstanding, I remember, when we got him. But having that said, I think Ramsdale still has areas to improve. But I think on his day can be absolutely outstanding, as we saw against Liverpool, because I thought he was sensational in that game. And I do feel there's more in him. There's also more years left in him, which means more development. And I just think he's a great character to have around. I like Raya, but if I had to choose between the two right now, were you saying if he performs, or were you saying right now, Justin?
Well, I mean, ideally it'd be if he performs, but I'm saying if you had to make the decision right now, because we don't know how Raya will perform for Arsenal.
Right now, I'd say Ramsdale for me, but
yeah. I do think Raya's the better keeper overall if you compare them, and stats kind of show that. And I think, we have a more solid defensive unit in front of Ramsdale than Raya has. Well, I guess even you can argue that. So I like Ramsdale personally. I love the guy, and maybe it's a little too personal, but I'd prefer to keep Ramsdale as well if it's.
All right, so we're going to do a little quick fire round, lads. I'm going to ask you some questions and we just go straight out of it. So, Juz, how many goals is Bukayo Saka going to get? Premier League only.
21.
Pass.
24.
Oh, that's high. I'm going to split the difference a little bit and go 22. How many goals for Martinelli? Pass.
17.
Just
17. Was thinking the same.
16. How many goals for Martin Odegaard? Pass.
15.
Just
16.
I'm going to go 15. I think it might be a little bit down, but I think he's going to have penalties. The big one. How many goals for Kai Havertz? Pass.
12.
Oh, Juz.
9.
And I'm the low man on this. I'm gonna go 7 on this.
Ooh,
and how many goals for Leo Trossard? Paz.
11.
Juz.
4.
And I'm gonna go 7 again. Actually, I just don't think that. I think he's going to be more of the creator, and
Me
I
too.
just don't think he's going to get enough minutes to really slam that amount of goals.
I don't think he's going to score a lot, but he'll create a ton. Yeah, I've no doubt.
So how many goals for Eddie? Pass.
5.
Juz.
6.
2.
Well, I mean, I'm over here please 6, please.
He didn't get that last season though, did he? He got more than that.
He got 5. I think he got 5.
But Jesus had a huge
Jesus
layoff.
was injured and he had to play. I just don't think he's going to play.
And this is only Premier League, right?
Yeah,
only
Premier League.
Yeah, only Premier League.
How many starts for Declan Rice? Pass.
I'd say 36.
Juz?
35.
Yeah, I'll go 35 as well. How many starts for Thomas Partey? Pass.
Is this just
Premier League starts?
Not if he's okay, he's injured.
No, you got to factor in his injuries.
I'd say starts for Partey 15.
Just
22.
I'm going to go 19 with that one, I think. How many starts for Jurriën Timber?
Ooh,
that's a tough one. I'm going to say more than Partey. I would say 28.
Juz?
29.
Wow, you two have gone high. I'm going to go with 19. I'm going to go him starting half the games, which leads to the obvious question: how many starts for Oleg Zinchenko? Has?
I'm gonna say 22.
Juz?
25.
Yeah, I'm going to go 26. I think it's basically going to be every game that he's fit for. I just think he's probably going to miss a few. All right, and the last one of these: how many starts for Aaron Ramsdale in the Premier League?
Oh.
Juz?
Oh, me first.
Yeah, starts off. I like to mix it up.
This isn't what I want. Okay. It's not what I want. I'm gonna give him 12.
Has?
12 starts in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think Raya's gonna take a spot.
Okay, so that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him 30.
I'm going to go 35. I think it's a competition that he wins, and I think the Premier League's his competition. I do think Raya's going to play a lot. I think he's going to play a lot in the cups, and like I said, I think he has to, because we've got to see what we've got with him, basically.
Hey, mate. I hope you're right. Honestly, I'm pulling for Ramsdale. I just think Raya's he's gonna nick him with the history with Kanya and Arteta wanting him for years now. I think he'll nick him, but I'm pulling for Ramsdale, honestly.
All right, guys. Well, that's the play a bit out of the way. We'll come back and do our team predictions in the second half. You all ready for that?
Ready.
All right.
Yes.
See you after the break.